My name's Fiona Lowry and I'm a children's author based in Perth, Scotland. I started writing in 2021, inspired by my children, encouraging them to use their imagination and positive thinking. When my daughter was younger, we bought a fairy door for the garden, and she would play around the fairy door every day. And one day she started asking questions about who might live there and how old they might be. So she wrote the fairy a letter, and the fairy wrote back. And the conversations continued for many years as my son grew and he joined in as well. And so my idea for Meeting Pip was born. The week before Meeting Pip was released, it won the Golden Wizard Book Prize 2023, and I'd like to read some of it to you just now. Pip lived in a beautiful house at 19 Primrose Gardens. It was a quiet neighbourhood with many families and lots of young children. Pip loved to listen to the children playing in her garden, which the residents called the Fairy Woods. It was a peaceful forest with a babbling brook where the birds sang all day in the trees and bees busily worked collecting nectar. On one warm summer's day, when Pip was cleaning and polishing her furniture, she heard two children outside the door playing tig, and after a lot of fun and laughter, they collapsed by the old oak tree. "Look, there's a hole in the bottom of the tree. It looks like a door. It must be a fairy house," said a voice. "There are no such things as fairies," replied another. Pip smiled to herself. She knew fairies were real, because Pip was a fairy, a tooth fairy. Slowly, Pip looked out of her magic window in the tree at the children, and she heard the little girl announce that she was going to leave a letter to prove that to her brother that fairies were real. The children ran off, and when Pip went to work later that evening, she found a note at her front door, reading, "Hello. If there's a fairy living here, please say hello and be our friend. Lots of love, Faith and Harris." Pip was so happy and excited. There was an extra bright glow from her fairy dust as she flew around the houses. It was a busy evening collecting teeth from below the pillows of sleeping children and leaving them their pennies. But Pip loved this part of her work, and as she knew the joy it brought in the morning when the children woke to her magic. When Pip got home, she filled her favourite baby molar with hot chocolate and read the note again from Faith and Harris. Before she went to bed, Pip took out her quill made from a robin's feather and wrote back, "Dear Faith and Harris, thank you for your lovely note. It is lovely to meet you both. I listen to you playing every day in the sunshine and it makes me smile. I love listening to your fun and games. Your local fairy." There she is with her little tooth. The next morning, whilst Pip was relaxing, she heard two familiar voices running towards the old oak tree. Pip watched as the two children stopped quickly by her front door to find a crumpled note, slug-slimed and snail-eaten. They couldn't believe it and stood looking at each other for a long time, speechless. Then, jumping with excitement, they started keenly. "Let's write back. Shall we ask some questions? Do you think there's a fairy family? I wonder if she's a tooth fairy." As Pip watched with adoration, eagerly the two children began writing back to her with a list of questions, carefully placing it back in the same spot below the oak tree. I wonder what questions you might ask Pip. Meeting Pip is a perfect accompaniment to forest schools, encouraging the use of imagination and outdoor play. Meeting Pip's available on my website, Amazon, all major online bookstores, and through the Book Dragon online and in-store at 6 West Row, Stockton-on-Tees, TS18 1BT. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope that you enjoy meeting Pip as much as I did writing it. Thank you. Bye.